the most exciting small EV this year. So this is the Chery EQ1.
What if someone told you that the next electric vehicle revolution might cost less than a new smartphone? That's the kind of buzz swirling around Chery, the Chinese automaker making waves with reports of an ultra-affordable electric car priced at just $2,699. No, it's not a rumor we're here to dismiss, because Chery has been making real moves in the low-cost EV market for years, and this headline-grabbing number, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Let's take a closer look at the company bold enough to try. A tiny car with big ambitions. For a company already producing stylish, city-friendly electric vehicles under $5,000, $2,699 EV seems less like a fantasy and more like a goalpost on the horizon. While the exact model and price point haven't hit showroom floors yet, what Chery is doing, aggressively pursuing high-efficiency, low-cost urban mobility, is already shaking up how we think about electric vehicles. So, is this the $2,699 EV that changes everything? Maybe not yet, but it's close, and it's coming fast. Chery isn't just another car company chasing EV trends, it's a state-backed powerhouse with a clear mission: make electric vehicles so affordable and accessible that everyone can own one. Founded in 1997 in Wuhu, China, Chery started as a bold experiment in homegrown automotive manufacturing. Fast forward to today, and it's become one of the most recognized Chinese car brands globally, exporting vehicles to over 80 countries and launching dozens of models aimed at both local and international markets. But what really sets Chery apart? It's not just the volume or the international reach. It's the way the company has been laser-focused on making EVs for the masses, not just the elite. Most of the world's EV chatter centers around sleek sedans and high-tech SUVs with hefty price tags. Tesla, Lucid, BMW, all great cars, but hardly within reach of the average buyer in emerging markets or even urban commuters looking for a second car. Chery, on the other hand, saw the future in small, affordable, and practical. Their popular QQ ice cream is a perfect example. A tiny, playful city car that launched at prices starting just above $4,000 USD. It's cute, colorful, and incredibly efficient. Exactly what millions of people need for short commutes, grocery runs, or navigating crowded city streets. And it's not a one-off. Chery followed that up with models like the Little Ant, EQ1, and the new QQ Domi, pushing the boundaries of how low an EV price can go while still offering modern design and tech features. This mission isn't just about affordability for its own sake, it's about scale. Chery knows that to truly make an impact, environmentally, socially, and economically, EVs can't be limited to niche markets or luxury buyers. They have to be everyday transportation, especially in fast-growing urban centers across Asia, Latin America, and Africa. What's even more interesting is how Chery has made this work financially. By focusing on micro EVs with smaller battery packs, streamlined manufacturing, and highly localized supply chains, they've created a model that other manufacturers are now scrambling to understand and imitate. The goal? Not just to compete, but to dominate the entry-level EV space globally. When we hear talk about a potential $2,699 EV, it's not some wild PR stunt. It's a logical next step for a company that's been marching toward this target for years, quietly, efficiently, and with a clear purpose: to put an electric car in every driveway, no matter the budget. The big question: how close are we? Let's get straight to it. $2,699 electric vehicle actually possible in today's market? If Chery is aiming for that price point, how close are they really? First, let's look at what already exists. Chery's QQ ice cream, launched in 2021, hit the market at just over 29,900 RMB. That's around 4,500 USD. For context, that makes it one of the cheapest EVs in the world, and it's not a toy car either. It comes with AC, a touchscreen, power windows, and enough range to cover 100-170 km per charge. It's cute, efficient, and shockingly functional for its price, so shaving off another keen $800? On paper, it sounds impossible, but with China's tightly controlled supply chains, ever-improving battery technology, and government incentives for domestic EV production, it's not entirely out of reach, especially if the next model is stripped down for ultra-urban use. Think smaller battery, fewer onboard features, even more minimalist design. What could that look like? A single motor, a smaller battery pack, maybe around 8 to 10 kiloohm, a plastic interior with minimal tech, 2 seats, or ultra-compact 4-seat layout, simple steel frame with safety basics. Not luxurious, but functional and road-ready for short-range, city-based drivers. That's all many people actually need. Then there's scale. Chery has the production muscle to pump out micro-EVs by the tens of thousands, and as every manufacturer knows, volume drives down cost. If they can produce parts in-house, cut down on import costs, and operate in regions with lower labor and logistics expenses, the math starts to make more sense. And finally, consider that government subsidies in China can knock hundreds, even thousands, off the sticker price for EVs, especially smaller, green-certified models aimed at urban mobility. While those incentives might not apply globally, they could allow Chery to test ultra-budget EVs domestically before scaling them internationally. While no this cheap model has been unveiled yet, the trajectory is clear. Chery isn't just flirting with affordability, they're chasing it hard. And if anyone can close the gap between dream and reality in the EV market, it might just be them. Chery's electric arsenal. To understand how serious Chery is about affordable EVs, just look at what's already in their garage. Over the last few years, the company has rolled out a growing lineup of compact, battery-powered vehicles designed to meet real-world needs, all without breaking the bank. These aren't concept cars or speculative renders. These are street-ready, mass-produced electric vehicles already making waves in China and beyond. Chery QQ Ice Cream. The QQ Ice Cream is where the buzz really started. Launched in late 2021, it's a city car with big personality, compact, colorful, and designed for short-range, everyday urban use. The base model comes in at around $4,500 depending on region and subsidies, and offers a modest 120 to 170 kilometer range on a single charge. It's not just a commuter, it's a lifestyle accessory. The ice cream is marketed toward younger drivers, city dwellers, and budget-conscious families. Inside, it includes a digital dash, touchscreen controls, air conditioning, and even optional smart connectivity features. Not bad for a car cheaper than many e-bikes in the West. Chery EQ1, or Little Ant. Next up is the EQ1, affectionately known as the Little Ant, slightly more premium than the ice cream, but still incredibly affordable by global standards. Prices start around $10,000, and you get more space, better performance, and longer driving range. The Little Ant is a 2-door hatch with seating for 4 and a driving range of up to 300 kilometers, depending on the variant. With upgraded infotainment, a bigger battery, and a more refined build, it's a step up for drivers who want a budget EV without compromising too much comfort or usability. Chery QQ Domi. Launched in 2025, the QQ Domi brings a sportier, crossover-style aesthetic to the mix. It's aimed at a slightly different audience, those looking for something compact but trendy. The Domi features bold styling, digital gauges, and a range of up to 405 kilometers (CLTC) for the top-tier variant. Prices begin around $10,000 to $12,000, depending on spec and subsidies. While this is well above the $2,699 mark, the Domi showcases Chery's ability to blend affordability with smart design and longer range performance. Across all 3 models, a clear pattern emerges. Chery is refining the art of making EVs smaller, simpler, and cheaper without sacrificing functionality. They're narrowing the price-performance gap, and each release brings them one step closer to hitting that sub-$3,000 sweet spot. From the whimsical ice cream to the sleek Domi, Chery's EV lineup isn't just about making cars cheaper, it's about building a sustainable ecosystem of electric mobility for the masses. As one of China's most ambitious car makers, Chery isn't just dominating its home turf, it's quietly expanding into new regions, disrupting legacy brands and rewriting the rules of EV affordability on a global scale. Chery in the global EV landscape. While many people still associate electric vehicles with Silicon Valley startups or high-end European engineering, the real momentum in the EV market is shifting east, and Chery is right in the middle of it. You may not see a Chery showroom on every street corner yet, but the company is making real moves. In recent years, Chery has expanded its presence in Latin America, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and parts of Eastern Europe. Markets like Brazil, South Africa, and Indonesia have already welcomed Chery's budget-friendly gasoline and hybrid models, and the EVs are next in line. This isn't accidental. Chery is targeting the exact regions where affordable mobility matters most. In places where income levels make a $40,000 Tesla laughably out of reach, Chery's 4K 10K offerings are incredibly appealing. And in congested urban environments, smaller EVs make more sense than ever. Less parking stress, lower charging needs, and better suitability for short daily trips. How Chery compares to other EV giants. In the big EV picture, Chery might not have the brand power of Tesla or the raw production scale of BYD yet, but what it lacks in fame, it makes up for in focus. While Tesla battles over full self-driving and gigafactories, Chery is zeroing in on the part of the market that's still wide open: entry-level electric vehicles. BYD, another Chinese juggernaut, has dominated mid-range EVs like the Dolphin and Seagull. Wuling, in partnership with GM and SAIC, created the hugely successful Hongguang Mini EV, which actually helped inspire Chery's own QQ ice cream. But while Wuling stuck to domestic markets, Chery is building export momentum, setting up manufacturing hubs in foreign markets and tailoring models to local needs. They're not doing it alone either. Chery has teamed up with major players like CATL, China's largest battery producer, and even Huawei for smart vehicle tech. These collaborations allow Chery to integrate better range, faster charging, and connected features without ballooning the price. In short, Chery is carving out a niche that might turn into a massive global foothold: ultra-affordable EVs with real-world usability. While premium brands fight for market share at the top, Chery is quietly building a loyal following from the ground up, and they're exporting more than just cars. They're exporting a new way to think about mobility. The EV disruption potential. What happens if Chery pulls it off? Let's pause for a second and imagine a world where Chery actually delivers a reliable, road-legal electric car for Tucson. It's not just a new car, it's a new era. Such a move wouldn't just shake up the EV industry, it could flip the entire global automotive hierarchy on its head.
Chery is one of the biggest car manufacturers, especially electric cars, in China.
A vehicle at that price point wouldn't be competing with Tesla or BMW. It'd be competing with used scooters, gas-guzzling second-hand hatchbacks, and the very idea that EVs are a luxury item. In one bold swoop, Chery could turn the EV from a symbol of wealth and status into something truly democratic, a car for everyone. This kind of disruption starts where it matters most: emerging markets. In countries where car ownership is still out of reach for millions, a $299 EV could become the gateway to mobility, independence, and even entrepreneurship. Think small delivery businesses, urban taxi services, and first-time drivers who've never been able to afford a vehicle before. It could also reshape how governments think about public transportation, air quality, and infrastructure. If affordable EVs become the norm, cities might rethink their investments in charging networks, urban parking, and emissions policies. Cleaner air, quieter streets, and fewer fossil-fueled vehicles clogging up roads. All side effects of a more accessible EV ecosystem. But the impact doesn't stop there. Global automakers, especially those who've spent decades building gas-powered vehicles in the $15,000 to $25,000 range, could be caught flat-footed. Companies like Ford, Toyota, and Volkswagen would be forced to reckon with the fact that a new generation of drivers may never even consider internal combustion engines. Why would they, if they can get a brand new electric car for less than the price of a used one? And let's not forget how this could rattle the used car market. A flood of cheap new EVs could crash resale values across the board, disrupting not just automakers, but also dealers, lenders, and insurers. In short, if Chery pulls this off, even if the car is basic, low range, or limited to urban use, it has the potential to redefine transportation worldwide. It's not just about making a car cheaper, it's about making car ownership itself more inclusive, electric, and inevitable. What's standing in the way? As promising as this electric car sounds, the path to making it a reality is anything but simple. Chery has the manufacturing chops, the design instincts, and the momentum, but scaling an ultra-budget EV to global markets comes with some serious obstacles. From regulatory speed bumps to infrastructure gaps, there are a few hurdles that even Chery can't dodge with clever engineering alone. One of the most immediate and unavoidable challenges is regulatory compliance, particularly safety standards. The mini EVs Chery sells in China are perfect for domestic use, lightweight, compact, and made for short-range urban driving. But in markets like the US or Europe, cars must meet stringent crash test requirements, airbag standards, and structural benchmarks. These regulations are essential for driver safety, but they also drive up production costs significantly. A car that works in Wuhu might need a full redesign to pass muster in Los Angeles or Berlin, and that could push the price well past the $3,000 mark. Then there's the matter of range and performance. These ultra-affordable EVs aren't designed for long highway commutes or weekend getaways. They're made for dense urban centers where speeds are low and trips are short. That's great for certain drivers, but in more spread-out cities or suburban areas, a 100 to 150 kilometer range might not cut it. Convincing drivers to embrace a slower, smaller, and simpler EV means resetting expectations, and that's a harder sell outside of densely populated regions. Infrastructure is another wildcard. Even in places where EVs are gaining ground, public charging networks can be inconsistent, especially in developing countries where Chery's value proposition is strongest. A budget EV still needs a reliable place to recharge, and without major investment in infrastructure, that dream could stall before it gets rolling. Lastly, there's the perception problem. For many buyers, especially those unfamiliar with Chinese brands, an ultra-cheap electric car might raise more red flags than excitement. Questions about reliability, support, and resale value are all valid, and Chery will need to build not just a car, but a reputation in every new market it enters. The price goal is ambitious, and the path is filled with friction, but these aren't insurmountable challenges. They're simply the realities of bringing a global disruption to life. If Chery can find smart, scalable ways to navigate them, the industry will have no choice but to pay attention, the real deal on budget EVs. If Chery manages to bring a $2,699 EV to market, what would owning one actually feel like? The truth is, this isn't going to be your typical shiny, tech-loaded electric car with all the bells and whistles. Instead, it's more like a practical, no-nonsense tool designed to get you where you need to go without emptying your wallet. First off, don't expect long road trips or high speeds. These ultra-affordable EVs are built for city living, short distances, low speeds, and tight parking spots. The battery packs will likely offer a modest range, maybe somewhere between 100 to 150 kilometers, about 60 to 90 miles per charge, which is perfect for daily commutes, school runs, or quick errands. For many urban drivers, that's plenty. On the inside, simplicity will be key. The interior will probably have hard plastics, minimalistic controls, and just the essential safety features. Think seatbelts, basic airbags, and perhaps a simple digital display. Don't expect luxury finishes, leather seats, or a huge touchscreen. Instead, the focus will be on durability and functionality, so it can handle the wear and tear of everyday use without costly repairs. Charging will be straightforward, but possibly slow. Fast chargers might not be standard or widely supported, so overnight home charging or slow public chargers will be the norm. For urban dwellers with access to a garage or a designated parking spot, this will work just fine. But it could be trickier for people relying on street parking. Maintenance and running costs should be low, which is one of the biggest perks. With fewer moving parts than gasoline cars, EVs generally require less servicing. Plus, the electricity bills for charging a small EV are a fraction of what you'd pay for fuel. Chery's existing reputation for affordable, reliable vehicles suggests they'll aim to keep upkeep accessible. Finally, expect growing pains. As with any new disruptive technology, there may be hiccups, from supply chain delays to software updates or regional regulatory adjustments. Early adopters should be ready for a learning curve, but also the excitement of being part of an electric revolution that's about accessibility, not exclusivity. While this EV is still on the horizon, the momentum is undeniable. Chery is not just building a car, they're shaping a future where electric mobility is truly for everyone. And that's a revolution worth watching. Will you buy one once it's out in the market? Thanks for watching. See you in the next upload.